My mom told me if you hang around 9 broke friends, you're going to be the 10th one.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that.
So if I hang around 9 guys that drives Ferraris, I have a lot better chance.
Yeah. What's going on, everyone? This is James Doolin with the School of Hard Knocks, and this is our first episode of our new series, 10 Questions with Millionaires. I'm here today with Lavon Perrin, who's a millionaire. He's an entrepreneur, business owner, savant, and man, we're so pumped and thrilled to have him on as our first guest. We'll start off with our first question. What is the biggest thing that you would say that really separates people apart from their peers in the business world, or whether it's a skill set or a mindset thing for people to incorporate into their toolbox?
I think it goes back, and you mentioned it. It's simply mindset. That's I can almost end there. It's mindset means everything, right? If you take a situation and your mindset's not right, you're going to think it's negative, right? Because we live in, if you watch the news, is it a lot of positive on the news? No, it's negative. So we're fed a lot of negative stuff. That's why I don't watch the news. That keeps all the negative out of my mind. I'm not going to sit here and watch all the stuff that happened negatively and try to live my life. But I believe your mindset is just, I can't tell you. If I had to take one tool, right? If I was building a person and you get to put tools inside of a person and you had one major tool they can get, it would be mindset. When you have the right mindset, you're able to go a lot further than any other thing. You want to know why you're not where you want to be? Well, when you start looking at the mirror and realizing it's because of you, and honestly take a deep look at it and look at the other side of the coin, you could have done something better in that situation that maybe have gave you a different light. Go with a group. Big word now everywhere is side hustle, right? So you can take that side hustle and do it in the evenings. So some of my people that live on the East Coast, they buy a license in the West Coast. That buys them 3 hours a day. So instead of 8 o'clock in their time where they can stop calling people at 8 o'clock, now they can call up till 11.
Wow.
So you can work 9 to 5, have dinner, go to football practice with the kids, come home, and at 8 o'clock start calling for 3 hours in the West Coast and have a whole nother career.
Wow.
And once that career takes off, now you can get out of that job, that full-time job that you had.
One of the coolest things to me about, like, whenever I'm talking to business owners and entrepreneurs is it seems like there was always kind of a turning point, whether it was when they were going to school or when they were working throughout their career. But what point in your life did you know that, like, this was kind of the path that you wanted to take?
Well, I think it was one of the things that just kind of happened, to be honest with you. Just the going back and forth with the corporate America didn't ever seem like I really fit. It felt like I had a lot of questions and I bucked the system, but I was a good salesperson and everyone liked me and I can lead people. It just became where I felt like I wanted to go ahead and do my own thing and take all the tools that I've learned, though, from working for other companies and go and take it and put it into action for myself. So working for other companies definitely helped me learn how businesses work and be able to take some of those skills and just use them to my advantage. You know, one door closes, another one opens. So it was just time for me to decide to do my own thing. One of the big turning points for me, other than that, is, I was in the car business, right? And everybody knows what happens in the car business, right? 4 or 5 divorces, blah, blah, blah. That's what happens. So my biggest thing was I didn't want that, but I wanted to be able to see my kids.
What would you say has been the biggest thing that's enabled you to scale your business to what it is now?
Everyone wants to make $100,000 a year, right? So very few people are able to do that. Well, probably because that's your goal. If you had a plan and a goal to make $500,000 a year and you failed at your goal, you probably would still make $100,000 a year. But it's having a plan to help get you there. One thing I've done for myself is to say, what if they had 10 of me? All right? So if that company or that particular people I'm doing business with, would they be happy that they had 10 of me? And in my situation, it's yes. So that's how you know you're on the right track. Be accountable. Everything you do is accountable. We're in the United States, everyone has the same options. Why are you not successful? That's up to you, right? Surround yourself with people that's going to be successful, right? When I go downstairs and I go in our garage, how many Ferraris do you think are down there?
Good amount.
Right? It's a good amount. How many Porsches are downstairs?
A lot.
I'm sorry, but my mom told me if you hang around 9 broke friends, you're going to be the 10th one, right?
I love that.
So if I hang around 9 guys that drives Ferraris, I have a lot better chance, right?
Absolutely.
of driving a Ferrari. So, whether that's your dream or not, I'm just saying, putting yourself in better situations around people. That's why I made the pivot to move downtown. I wanted to be around people that were doing things, having the lifestyle, doing the things that I like to do, and I want to be some of those people. So now we're them. Me and my wife tell each other all the time. Our kids come over, they're like, y'all are them. What do you mean them? Y'all are them people we see all the time. Well, I guess so. right? But the good part about it is, like I said, there's no practice life.
How important has taking risk been to the success of you as an entrepreneur and a business owner?
There's no success without risk. Bottom line. You're not going to be safe and live in your comfort zone and do everything you want to do and be successful. Right. That's just not going to happen. You have to take some calculated risk, right? And learn from your risk. You can't continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. But you got to believe in yourself and educate yourself. Become a better version of yourself. When you do that, sometimes those risks will pay off, sometimes they won't. But you still have to believe in whatever that you're doing, that you can give it your all.
For someone pursuing the sales industry in 2022, how can someone, crush it? Or what is the secret to sales?
I believe just personal development. That's something I didn't do in my youth. I didn't read books. I didn't read books after college, I went online classes when online classes wasn't cool. Early 2000s, I did online and got my degree. But I believe that the personal development side has been huge. I think last year I read probably 15 books, wow. Right? The year before, I didn't read very many. So I think the personal development helped me a lot because it helped me validate some things that I thought, but I didn't know why, why my thoughts were where they were, why my ambitions were focused here and not there. So I believe that personal growth and development is probably the biggest things that I would do differently. I would start doing personal development at a younger age.
What would you say have been the 3 fundamental books that you think every entrepreneur should read to really, help along their path of self-improvement and development as an entrepreneur?
There's one that stands above and beyond. One that just has changed for me. That's How to Think and Grow Rich. That's the #1 book.
Who's that by?
That's by Napoleon Hill. It told me about my things that I was doing as a youth and how to take those focuses and those energies and put them in a different place. So to me, that's my biggest book. My mentor actually reads that same book every September, and he just told me the other day that he's starting to read it. So I'm excited because now I'm going to start reading that book. But that one did things for me. I mean, you got Rich Dad Poor Dad, that's big. You got Go for No. That's one of my favorite ones too, just because it's fun, it's easy. That's the biggest things for me is really just learning. You learn who you are, who you want to be, validate some things for yourself of why you are the way you are, why you think the way you do.
As a business owner, what has been the biggest challenge that you faced throughout your time owning a business, and how did you overcome it?
I think one of the biggest challenges is learning how to be a business owner, right? Meaning understanding what it takes to be consistent, learning what it takes to try to make things where it works for you, knowing that you're going to have ups and downs. I mean, that's just what you're going to have. I don't care what business you're in. That's what you're going to have. And learning to budget, right? Put your money in certain places, when to do this, when to do that, how to grow. And I learned from all the mistakes, right? So if you learn from your mistakes, I believe that's one of the biggest things you can do. Learn that you're going to make some mistakes and not be scared and overanalyze, right? Because I'm analytical as the next guy. But a lot of times people overanalyze situations and then they don't move, right? It's paralysis by analysis is what a lot of people call it.
What has been the worst financial decision that you've ever made?
I look at decisions and things that don't go your way not really as a negative. It's kind of like playing a game, playing sports. You don't necessarily lose, you learn. So I believe that things I've done in the past financially, one of the things that I've done financially, I've always wanted a 750 BMW ever since, I grew up in Germany mainly. So I've always wanted a 750 Beamer. I had the opportunity to own 2 of them.
Wow.
Neither one of them, and I remember a mechanic that was here in Austin, kind of by the Domain, before the Domain was even there, told me that if I buy one of those, me and him would be good friends because he knew I'd see him a lot. But, so that was something I did that I probably shouldn't have done, but I'm glad I did it, but I should have done it differently with a maintenance plan and just did it better, so it wasn't a horrible decision.
How do you incorporate the work-life balance into your everyday life?
The only thing different between people that are successful and not successful is their ability to handle things because of how they look at it. So I love when people tell me, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. I always think, I said, we have this guy who runs Amazon. I wonder how much time in the day he has. So the amount of things he's able to accomplish in the same amount of time that me and you have, why do we not have time? He has time because he's smarter with his time. He puts people around him that's able to help him do more in a shorter period of time. They say if you want to go somewhere fast, go alone. If you want to go somewhere for a long time,
For someone who's been very successful financially, do you personally think money buys happiness?
It can buy freedom if you know what to do with it, right? If you know how to handle it, if you learn, if you grow, if you learn how to do the right things with your money, it's a good chance that you can be happy. But not everybody that's happy are successful. So it's just, I don't know. That's a good question, right? But I think each individual has to answer that question for themselves. What buys happiness, right? I mean, that's the first thing. Everyone says, "Oh, if I had $1 million, I'll be happy," right? Well, I mean, if you can't manage $1,000, then you can't manage $1 million, right? So learn to manage that 1,000 that you have.
Episode 1 of Asking 10 Questions to Millionaires. We just finished up here downtown Austin with Lavon Perrin. Lavon, thank you so much again for your time, man. Appreciate you having us. Thanks for the hospitality, allowing us to come up. And hey, like we said, podcast coming soon with Lavon. Lots of great new content on the way, so we just can't wait to get after it and keep things rolling, man. Like and subscribe, School of Hard Knocks. Give us a follow on everything. We appreciate you.
All right, take care.